Before we get into the video, I need you guys to do me a favour. Number 1, like the video. Also comment, let me know your thoughts on the case. So a crime family from Greater Manchester, they believed that they were untouchable, even when they were arrested for drug offences. James Mulligan commanded a gang of at least 13 people, who he called family. In a flat in Ashton-under-Lyne, men and women, under James's instruction, were pressing white powder into bricks, so much so that white smoke would waft from the front door. Now neighbours discussed seeing multiple people come and go from the flat every few hours, 7 days a week, sometimes 5 on a Sunday. The crime family were manufacturing kilos of Class A and Class B gear at a time. 3 doors down, associates were pumping out batch after batch of meth, set up in a homemade lab, reminiscent of a plot from Breaking Bad. Now police say they first become aware of James Mulligan 3 years ago, when Manchester police received information that James was sending batches of drugs across North West Wales and North Wales through his associates. He had enlisted associates Subu and Gemma to pick up the drugs from Welbeck South Flat. Now James was a smart man. What he did was he used his second in command, David Keenan and Damien Batty, and they were regularly spotted in Ford Transits travelling from Ashton-under-Lyne, Greater Manchester, to North Wales and then back again, in the same day. It was revealed that they were shipping kilos of Class A gear in exchange for money. Now James' dad, Brian Mulligan Sr., and the brother, Brian Mulligan Jr., were instructed to produce the drugs to a high quality and a high standard, and they were trusted implicitly. Once the money was back in Greater Manchester, 72-year-old Sheila Mason, who went by the name of Grandma, took hold of the cash and kept the money safe in strongholds that also housed weapons and passports in Droylsden. Now Greater Manchester Police serious organised crime unit that had kept the gang under surveillance, and between April and October 2021, police in Manchester and Yorkshire and Birmingham made half a dozen arrests, while members of the James Mulligan crime family had been caught in 4K, transporting GUNs and drugs or cash. The predictability and the routine of the gang was their downfall. They never changed the route and they did the same thing over and over and over again, so of course police were able to build a clear picture and gather evidence. James Mulligan assumed that he was untouchable because he was known in Ashton-under-Lyne as a crime family not to be messed with, and his crew was so big. And on April 28th, Keenan and James Mulligan were stopped by police on their way back from Liverpool. The car was stopped and put against the side of the road. The car was then searched and police found a pistol, 2 burner phones and £25,000 in cash. James and Keenan were detained. They refused a solicitor before being interviewed and then answered no comments to all questions. Both men were eventually bailed. Now because James was accustomed to the vast profit, he told the gang to continue the operation because of course, because we never speak, that means they've got no case against us. Again, he thought he was untouchable. Now Brian Mulligan Sr. and Brian Mulligan Jr. again began to make the H and meth from the flat. Sheila then kept stashing the money. David Keenan and Damien Batty continued their drug runs, and Mulligan's associate, Sibu and Gemma, continued to sell drugs to criminals. And on May 1st, a woman associated with the crime family, Katrina Barton, was recorded leaving the property with a carrier bag. Police tailed the woman. Later that same day, the car was stopped in Durham, and Durham police found 2 bricks of H and 3 kilos of bulking agents, as well as money and also paracetamol. Police swabbed the package and found that Brian Mulligan's DNA was all over that package. Now Katrina's phone was also taken. When police opened the phone and began to read the messages, it revealed that she was in regular contact with Brian Mulligan Sr., and he was the one that was giving her instructions, where to pick up the packages and where to drop it off. When police arrested Katrina, she explained to the police, she said that's all there is, if I don't get it, they will bash my son's head in. Katrina was arrested and charged with drug offences, which she accepted. And then, on the 1st of July, Subu Ngema was arrested on his way to North Wales. He was caught with £10,000 worth of cannabis and also a bag of coke worth £17,000. Of course, police already knew he was about to transport it in order to do a deal in exchange for cash. And then, on August Brian Mulligan Jr. was caught while travelling to Bradford with his mate Gary Holtham and Lee Hamlet Crawley. A kilo of H was uncovered in the car. Number plate recognition put Brian Mulligan Jr. at the centre of the drug's transportation. He was recorded travelling back and forth from Bradford to Ashton-under-Lyne at least a dozen times in the last 3 months. James Mulligan was sentenced to 11 years and 7 months. His brother, Brian Mulligan, who accepted that he was part of the crime family but had a less role, was jailed for 7 years and 3 months. The dad, Brian Mulligan Sr., was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months. Second in command, David Keenan and Damien Batty, were sentenced to 10 years and 7 years respectively, and Sibu Ngama was sentenced to 6 years. As for the woman that was named after Grandma, she was given a suspended sentence and community service. Again, this is what happens when crime families believe they're untouchable. Police will sit and wait and just do an investigation until they build evidence against you, and when you least expect it, they will come for you, and then that's it. Stay safe.